Welcome back to Clear Cut. The man who will carry out President Trump's foreign policy was in the hot seat on Capitol Hill today. Secretary of State nominee Mike Pompeo faced the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for his confirmation hearing. Pompeo was grilled on a range of topics, both foreign and domestic. And when it came to the issue of the Iran nuclear deal, Pompeo confirmed that he is on the same page as the president.
I want to fix this deal. That's the objective. Senator, it's not a yes or no questions because it's a hypothetical. We're not at that point. In the event that we conclude that we can't fix this deal, that these serious shortcomings, then the president is going to be given best advice, including by me. And if there's no chance that we can fix it, I will recommend to the president that we do our level best to work with our allies to achieve a better outcome and a better deal.
All right, let's now bring in Ryan Mauro, national security analyst at the Clarion project. Ryan, good to have you on the show. And Ryan, Pompeo saying that bolstering the Iran nuclear deal will be a priority if he's confirmed. Now, there is 1 month until that May 12th deadline that President Trump set to either address the flaws in the agreement or withdraw from it. What is your sense on how this all plays out as that deadline looms?
I think it's most likely that the United States either scraps the deal formally or does something that forces Iran to say that the U.S. scrapped the deal, even though we didn't really do it. And what I mean by that is that if we were to implement really tough sanctions on Iran and maybe carry out airstrikes on their terrorists in Syria, it might compel them to say, look, the deal isn't working out for us, so we are going to be the ones that withdraw. But I must say, I really like Pompeo's answer there because what he's saying is that he's not a closed-minded partisan. If at some point he gets new information that says that canceling the deal or doing something to roll back the deal is against national interest, he's willing to change his position on that. And I would like to hear more rhetoric like that coming from Washington.
Yeah, he certainly indicated that he's open-minded and sort of broke that hawkish mold that he's been cast in. Now, Ryan, as President Trump's decision on Iran looms, the decision on taking action against Syria is even closer. Pompeo saying today that the quote the goal is to, quote, have a post-Assad Syria one day. At the same time, he said that the president wants to lessen the U.S. presence in Syria. Let's take a listen.
The other objective is to achieve a diplomatic outcome such that there's more stability, we can take down the violence, and so this is a diplomatic task so that we get to a place where the Syrian people can ultimately govern themselves, and our goal is to make that a post-Assad Syria one day.
What do you make of that goal, and how does the U.S. achieve it?
My concern is how fixated we will be on that goal, because if our goal is to overthrow Assad, it's possible that we prolong the conflict and make it much worse. We want the humanitarian disaster to stop, and we also want to weaken the Assad regime, and so we have to balance those two things. And it is actually consistent, if this is what Pompeo is referring to say our policy is that Assad should not be in power, but we are not going to militarily pursue that end. It sounds inconsistent, but when you break it down, it's actually very reasonable because the U.S. is against dictators that kill their own people. So you've got to be opposed to him being in power, but that doesn't mean that you engage in a war to overthrow him. That could be counterproductive. As for a broader strategy here, really the key is going to be how we work with the Syrian Democratic Forces in northern Syria, which is a coalition of Kurds, Sunni Arabs that are allied with the U.S., and Christians. And I think more attention needs to be paid to that alliance because they're really key here, because they are the alternative to Islamist terrorist rebels and the Assad regime that is basically Iran. And by the way, if we bomb Syria, we're bombing Iran now. Syria is a province of Iran. Not two independent countries that are allied. Syria is Iran now.
Well, do you see that multilateral strike or a unilateral strike, but certainly indications are that it will be a multilateral strike at this stage happening? Do you see the U.S. and the U.K. and France taking some decisive military action?
Yes, I would be shocked if there wasn't some type of military action against Assad relatively soon. It's possible that they're going to wait for some more tests of the samples of the soil if they want to really make the case. But knowing Trump's personality and what he has done in the past, I would assume that it's going to happen sooner than later, if for no other reason than the fact that the U.S. has enforced Obama's red line under Trump, And if we were to not act now, it really would look like that we back down. And we cannot project weakness in that region, and our allies would not be able to make sense of that. One concern I do have, though, is that as we try to build an anti-Assad coalition, is that Qatar and Turkey are going to step up and say, hey, we can help you with that, and then end up spoiling everything, just like they have done in other conflicts, particularly in Libya.
And it's challenging to try to build those coalitions until your Secretary of State has been confirmed. A number of big deadlines looming. That potential meeting with Kim Jong-un of North Korea also in the horizon. And Pompeo told the senators that no one is under any illusions that that summit will achieve a comprehensive agreement on the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, but at the same time that North Korea cannot be allowed to threaten the U.S. with nuclear weapons. Let's take a listen.
We have a responsibility to achieve a condition where Kim Jong-un is unable to threaten the United States of America with a nuclear weapon. I have never advocated for regime change. I have all along.
It's a simple question. So you don't believe.
I'm happy to answer today that I'm not advocating for regime change. Yes, Senator.
Ryan, your reaction?
Well, in regards to North Korea, it's always hard to get inside the minds of someone as crazy as Kim Jong-un, but it seems like they're going to offer something substantive, that this isn't just a show, because the North Korean officials and their state-controlled press are really going overboard and saying, no, we're for real this time. It might have something to do with Kim Jong-un's health. But what's important to understand is that the Trump administration didn't really get into power until 2018. Maybe isn't even really in power because Pompeo isn't officially the Secretary of State yet. And so a lot of time has been lost, and Trump hasn't actually had people that carry out his vision around him until now. Arguably, they're not even in place now.
Right. And that's certainly a big complication. We'll see how long it takes for Pompeo to be confirmed, if at all. Ryan Mauro, national security analyst at the Clarion Project. Thank you, as always.
Thank you.
All right, still ahead, the death toll rising. Another Hamas terrorist killed as Israel retaliates on the Gaza border. And Israel is also on high alert as the Palestinians in Gaza gear up for another Friday of violent protests.